Hello and welcome back. This is Mindset 16
Why am I
culture.
not hearing you?
Are you not hearing me?
Oh, that's why, because of that.
Okay. Are you
Andrew, go ahead,
with?
speak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Welcome back. It's Mindset 16 culture, and Glenn is going to be sharing with us. So I'm turning the mic over to Glenn.
so greetings, everybody. Earlier and throughout the day, I haven't had an opportunity to to introduce myself. Glenn Liguori. I'm an FCT, FCC, FCP, plus a bunch of other alphabet soup acronyms, along with agile coaching and Scrum and whatnot. Get to lead an incredible team called Envisioneers. And, so I'm about to talk about culture, and I want to show you something. This is culture. Culture is how do you get involved? How do you ensure that everybody on your team is actually involved in what you're doing? So we're sitting around watching the soccer game, and yes, maybe you can see we're it's a little debauchery. It's a little having some fun. My friend Brandon and Jonas, we're here together just having culture because in an organization, see, they're hating me right now, but in an organization, go ahead to that next slide. In an organization, how do we understand what our vision and mission and purpose is? Everybody in my organization, including these two guys who are like rolling their eyes at me right now, they know that my vision is zero friction. What can we do to reduce our friction points? What can we do to ensure that we create moments that are better wrapped around our actual mission and purpose and whatnot? And so what this slide is really talking about is what is our culture at all these different layers and lenses to ensure that we know what our vision, mission, and purpose are. How can we work on them at a strategic and a leadership level language? And then how do we translate those into our core values and attitudes, our strategies, and our goals and objectives? How do we, as an organization, understand all of those? How do we communicate about all of those? You've been hearing communication all day long. Jay has mentioned it quite a few times. But how do we live these in an environment that allows us to have a great culture? How do we get added to the lists of the best companies to work for? These sorts of things. When we, I didn't want to skip ahead. Simon Sinek, he wrote the book Start with Why. Right? Whoa, there goes my dog. Perfect timing. So start with why. He also wrote sorry, hold on. So he wrote, Simon Sinek, I wanted to highlight that he wrote, start with why, find your why, leaders eat last, the infinite game, and better together. And in his more recent communications and talks, he's also added start with vision. So apologies for that. So Simon Sinek talks about start with why, starts with vision. And go ahead to that next slide, Andrew. What he's really conveying, and what Adam Grant is also conveying, is that our cultures are ultimately defined by the worst behavior tolerated. So, this little funny meme here, if you will, Attila the manager, right? Great, yeah, but he gets results. He probably chops off all these heads, but he gets results. But ultimately, within us conveying our values, it helps us understand our culture. It helps us be able to, like I did at the very beginning, look at my colleagues sitting here and say, "Hey, you ready for this?" And they'll look at me like, "Yeah, this is going to be weird." But you know what? It's all good. It's all fine because it's not a horrible behavior. It was fun. It was a way to just express like, look, we're sitting here, we're having some fun, we're having some snacks, missing a World Cup game, and it is what it is. So I'm really keeping that one very, very short, and I really, really want to have an open conversation on this one.
Awesome. I love it. that cowboy is with.
You know, he had to. It's the funny thing, right? All day long, I've been in and out to each one of these Zoom calls. Everybody knows my dog, and he's not barked all day long. Finally, do my one presentation, and he has to go crazy because my son's.
He knows. He knows.
Yeah. That's culture.
That is
That's culture. There you go. I mean,
Okay,
yeah.
open conversation for
Got good 10
those who are participating. We got up to 10 minutes if you want.
So thanks for this, Glenn. This circles me very quickly back to the first one I presented today on choice, because so much of this revolves around culture. Cultures are created based on choice. And over time, and a combination of choices. And as you know, we know culture eats strategy for breakfast. Andrew Coleman will say culture eats strategy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'll add in multiple snacks in between all day, because culture ultimately dictates everything.
Yep.
Well, precisely, and I think we all, and Jeff was mentioning earlier, he was in an environment that he regretted some decisions and whatnot, and that was probably also predicated on certain cultural, decisions, etc. I think we all can say we've been in a culture we regretted or something wasn't quite right. We also can reflect on a lot of those cultures that we loved, where we've had an amazing time. I can think of maybe one or two prior to where I'm at, and we all talk. We might say, "Gosh, just all this friction," but frankly, it's about those challenges and about the people you're with and about the opportunities you have. Those create great cultures.
And if you have a great culture, even if it gets hot in the room sometimes, culture will compensate for that. Not that you want the heat turned up every day to the max, but it can actually save the day.
I see Ephraim coming on.
Yeah.
I just need to say something, because this slide and this part I really like. I really start every project with this one because this is the beginning. And I start a team, I think 1, 2, 3 teams every year. So I've started quite a lot of organizations now. They're quite small and they last for 4 or 5 months. And we start a new team in the project, because some people members change. So go from an idea to start a building site. We do this 3 rounds almost. So we have 3 teams that I start up, and we work for a couple of months together, and then we hopefully we can continue with the same team. But building a culture, I think this helped me a lot, and I've been squeezing it a little bit. I've been changing it so it fits my organization. So the mission is some companies instead, because I build a team of different organizations or different companies. So, but it works every time. So I like the quote that Andrew said, that I know how to do it and it works every time. So this is really good.
I will say that my team are approached on a regular basis, probably anywhere from 5 to 20 times a week, of teams saying, I need help to get things started, or I'm having issues with this project, or et cetera, right? There's a myriad of reasons why. And we turn around and we say, great, what can we do to step in and actually help reduce those friction points through building your cultural moments, your stand-up needs? And so we have little tactics that we use. And quite frankly, it's funny because they'll come and say, well, great, give me the agenda so that I can approve it. And I need to do this and I need to create this PowerPoint. And I tell them, no, this is what I'm going to do. Trust me. I just did this on just a couple days ago. And the guy said, no, I want to just make sure you understand all this and that. And I said, nope, don't need it. I got you. We're going to build your culture.
Yeah. And I'm even put another slide that I call it a culture journey, because a project that we do in building construction is kind of a culture journey. We start with a few people, 3 to 5 people, and within a year you are 100 people, basically. So it's a culture journey to build this culture that lasts, can go from a few people to 100 people. So this slide helps me because on this journey, it's not always we're not always friends on this journey, and this slide keeps us on the right track. Sometimes that it's just like your picture there with the cowboy with trying to hit someone.
The bow and arrow speaks.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm sure Tom could easily chime in. I know he posts regularly about cultures that are toxic, agile.
Yeah. In fact, he knows how to detoxify the toxic cultures.
But and to me, what's most interesting about culture, or at least what I experienced in building Menlo, was just the power of ceremony to define culture. I've now meditated on that enough that I'm like, maybe when apes first became humans is when they created ceremony. And that's really the beginning of culture, right? Human culture, and then ultimately business culture. And I suspect it's a secret. It's a secret win inside of Agile that we don't talk about enough, is that you can create culture through ceremony.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Tom actually has a book that's called Ceremonies, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's a very short book.
Yes, I've read it. So, and it's a very interesting way to think about this, and that can help define culture. Excellent.
And one more thing, I think it's really great that they start with the vision on the top, and in the bottom you have these goals and objectives, because we, at least at our company, we usually say that everything is goal. So you have this vision goal, and you have this goal that needs to be fulfilled, and you mix them all together, and you have some goals that you wish you could have as well, and if everything is goals, you don't know how to track them and measure them, and you don't know how to fulfill them, because the vision is you measure the vision in one way, and the goals that need to be fulfilled you measure in a different way. So here you can separate them from vision and goals, and I think gets really clear in this picture as well.
Yeah, that's why you have to tie everything together. You know, you need to have the vision, you break it out, and the further down you go, the more operational your vision will be. You know, and at the end of the days, you need to tie goals to that. But yeah.
Excellent.
Is key.
Yep. And with that, we'll go ahead and end this session. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in the next session.